And we've got one student that's going to be late. So right now it's just the three of us. Well, this is going to be our Microsoft Office Excel, Microsoft Excel class. And this is the book that we'll be using. MOS stands for Microsoft Office Specialist. So if you see MOS 2016, that's what it's talking about. And I'll ask you in a minute what your experience is with Excel. But first off, I just wanted to show you this. Oh, let me turn on my camera here. My projector. The book, one of the things I sent out, and I think you'll see it, is a tentative schedule for the class. Hopefully we won't have technical problems. I know Oak Brook is still needing some work on the machines there. That's why physically we're not meeting in Oak Brook today. And what I've got in here is 5 classes. So I have us going through about November 20th. And to explain a little bit about what this has in here, it shows chapters 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, etc. And what that is, at the end of each chapter, there are some practice work that we can do from the book. These initial ones may seem fairly simple, and some of them are. And I'll show you what the first one looks like. I think it's on page 11.
So do we physically get a hard copy book or no?
You don't have a hard copy of the book?
No, I've been asking Paul about that, and they didn't let me know.
Okay, because I know from Martha, who's here in the office, I believe hers got sent to her. Let me check with Paul on that, because I'm not sure why you didn't get it.
When I asked him about it, he was like, well, I'll get back with you on that.
I'm sorry, you're really hard to hear. I can hear that. Anyway, what I wanted to show you, this is just an example of the practice tasks.
Can you hear me better?
Oh, yeah. It's a little better.
Okay.
Thank you.
But yeah, when I asked Paul about a book, I've been asking him about a book like 2 weeks ago, and he said he was going to get back with me, and he never did.
Oh, okay. I'm going to see if we can get one sent out to you right away.
If it's one at the office, the Gurney office is only 10 minutes away from me. I can go get it.
Ah, you're up by the Gurney office. Okay.
Yeah,
I'll be in the Gurney office actually tomorrow morning for another class, and I can bring the book there.
Okay, I'll just come and get it from you.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm kind of getting ahead of myself, because what I usually do at the very start of the class is give a little introduction about myself, and then let you tell me a little bit about yourself too. So I'm Keith Davis. Similar to you folks, I got laid off in 2012 from Nokia Siemens. Looked around for jobs. I'm a little bit older, so I wasn't really looking for a 70-hour-a-week job or a 24/7 type job. And I actually became a student here at MITS. And I got my second master's certificate in project management, which has been my main focus. In addition to that, so I started teaching actually at MITS. Paul asked me if I'd like to teach. So I've been teaching the project management class for about 4.5 years. And along the way, I ended up picking up the Microsoft classes. So I teach Excel, PowerPoint, Word, occasionally Outlook, occasionally Excel Expert, the next level up. And so that's, I've actually worked basically in 3 industries. I worked for International Harvester, which is now Navistar, what's left of it. And actually did everything there, worked my way up from a machinist to an industrial engineer. And finished night school in my bachelor's, which took me about 12 years because I waddled.
Well, you finished. That's all that matters.
Yeah, I finished it eventually. Then I ended up working for a company with brown trucks for quite a while, UPS, and did everything there too, part-timer, loading, unloading, sorting packages, part-time supervisor, then went full-time. I actually drove for 3 years. I liked that, but I made a mistake then and went back into management. I was actually an industrial engineer at UPS. A little bit different chasing drivers around than doing welding and machining and assembly work that we did at Harvester. That was good, but UPS on management is pretty hard. And it was actually a family decision for me to leave there. I was only working 5 days, but 12 to 14 hours a day. So by the weekend, I was just wasted anyway.
Yeah.
And I had sons at the time, and it was like, this isn't good. So it was a family decision for me to leave there. I ended up, a few months later, getting a job at Motorola. And I spent 10 years at Motorola, and that was really pretty good. And that's where I did most of my project and program management work. Eventually, my division was sold to Nokia Siemens. And after a couple of years, Nokia Siemens laid off 17,000 people, and I got to be one of them. So that's how I ended up coming to MITS eventually, and then now teaching. So this is sort of my part-time job, but it's been pretty good.
I think we're all surprised about where we ended up here.
Yeah.
This is asking me to redeem an access code. Am I in the right thing? Probably not. I'm in the G-metrics.
Oh, I haven't given you an access code yet.
Oh.
You're kind of jumping ahead.
Oh, okay. I'll close out of here then. Because we're not going to need this, right?
We will later, but not right now.
Log it out.
So that's about me. Martha, you want to tell me a little bit about you?
Yeah, my background is kind of unusual, whatever. I started out in real estate. I was a property manager for a while, and then I became a broker. I'm still a real estate broker. But when we had the crash in 2008, and even a little bit before that, I could feel things going south. So I ended up working in the medical field, not necessarily with sick people, but with the equipment. So sterilizing the equipment. And I got to do that in several big hospitals in the Chicagoland area. And then I started traveling the country because you get a national certification to do that. And then they look for you to come in and help them with their production in these big hospitals across the country. So I did that for the last 5 years. And I was out in Tucson, Arizona, for my last assignment, and I kind of pulled a muscle in my shoulder, and I thought, you know what, I think I better like calm down. So since I've been working for an agency, I thought, well, they'll just transfer me over. I can just do some office work or something like that. Turns out they didn't have a lot of office work. They had something called flu registrars, so you go to these different companies, and whenever there's flu shots, you sit there and do the paperwork. Well, that wasn't going to pay the bills, right? So I said, well, I'll just send out some resumes. How hard can it be to get a job as a receptionist or a secretary or something like that? Because I do have those skills. But apparently everybody wants certification now. And by me being also a little bit older, they also want, they make assumptions about what you want in terms of pay and stuff like that. So I've been having a hard time. And I thought if I can get these certifications, then I should be able to do a little bit better with this career choice here. I ultimately hope to do medical coding from home. So I'm studying coding here as well.
Okay, so you're going to be working with, are you taking classes
Yeah,
right now?
yeah, I started with Yolanda.
With Yolanda, okay.
And hopefully, I'll get through that pretty good. They're making me take medical terminology again. I had been taking courses on my own through AHIMA, which is a big national organization, but it's just too slow. And so now I'm in this kind of accelerated boot camp, and I should be done with everything, hopefully by March of 2019.
19? Oh, okay, very good.
So, yeah.
Angel, can you tell me how to pronounce your name so I don't mispronounce it all the time?
You actually pronounced it correct.
Oh.
Well, that's good. Okay, good. Angel, tell me about you and tell me about your, Martha, you didn't mention your experience with Excel.
I had it as a realtor. I was able to do like a couple of spreadsheets for buildings and a couple of label making functions and keeping track of stuff, but very, very low key sort of things, not something I did every day either. So.
Yeah. Okay. That's good. Okay, now, Angel, tell us about you and your experience with Excel.
I'm immediate with Excel, but I use Excel every day with my job. I just don't know the other portions of it. I've been doing medical billing for the last 6, 7 years now.
Oh,
I
okay.
did get certified for coding back then, so now I have to get certified now because I want to actually do coding
Uh-huh.
versus doing billing, which is all the same thing, but it's just a pay difference. And I actually work from home, so that's why the times and stuff be conflicting.
Uh-huh.
But I just need to be certified.
Okay. This class, a lot of people take this class sometimes just to catch some newer things, because each version of Microsoft that comes out, they've always got a couple new bells and whistles in it, and things that
Paul
can be
actually, I don't mean to cut you off. He actually recommended that I take this because I didn't think Excel came with the class.
uh-huh.
He recommended that I take it since I didn't know anything about sales and all the difficulties with Excel.
Okay. Well, I'll very sure see if I can get you that book. Actually, like I said, I'll be in Gurney tomorrow, so I can bring a book up there.
Okay.
I'll probably give you hard copies of things I emailed out to for everyone in the class here. I've got hard copies, and a couple of them are just simple guides. One's called the Quick Start Guide, and the other one is called Excel Quick Reference. And what this has basically, I'll have to admit, I'm a mouser now. I used to be a keyboard person, but I've gotten away from doing keyboard things. But there's this little reference card has a whole list of different keyboard shortcuts you can use. I use about 2 of them. Like a Control A, I know will select everything. So that's because like I say, I'm more of a mouser now, so I do a lot of things that way. One of the other things I'm going to introduce, and I think I might have sent it out, but I believe I included this. GCF Learn Free is let's see, I've got too many things open. Where's my GCF Learn Free? Oh, here it is. GCF Learn Free is a free tool out there, and actually in the schedule I gave you, I've got some links at the bottom for GCF Learn Free, and also for support.office, which is really more of the Microsoft related training group. And I like these. You'll find the book is kind of sometimes hard to follow, the Microsoft book. And what this does, each of these little videos is like a 3-4 minute video about various subjects. And it's quite a long list. And actually on my schedule sheet, I've listed some that we'll probably cover in our class here. So like, I just added a new one on here. So that's what's over on the far side of the worksheet where it says GCF new features 1, 3-9, and 31. So that's actually going to be some of the little videos we're going to look at first. Let's see. I guess that's.
I have a question. Are we
Sure.
going to be able to sit for the Microsoft Excel test to get our certification?
Yep.
Okay.
The Microsoft, and that's what this book is for, really, is preparing you to get the
Study guide.
Microsoft Office Specialist Excel certification.
Yes.
And glad you mentioned that, because the certification test is about a 50-minute test, and I'm also a proctor for that.
Oh,
So
okay.
when we're doing that, it's just a matter of setting up an appointment,
Okay.
since that's not really part of the class schedule. We usually try to set aside about 2 hours. Because
Okay.
there's a couple tools that you have to register with. One is the certification tool called Certiport, where we actually do the testing.
Okay.
And then you also get a sign in register with Microsoft Office.
Oh, right. Okay. I have a Microsoft Office account, but I guess, I don't know.
That'll work.
So we have to be certified in Excel.
It's
Be
an
nice.
option. It's an option for you. Many of my students just take it to brush up on different things, learn a few new things. So that's an option. Yeah, it'll be probably covered under your, if you're under the WIA program or one of the programs, Paul would cover that.
Okay.
It's an option for you, though. I know when I was a student, I took the Excel class hoping to get a few new things. And actually, for me, it was a basic class, and I didn't get much out of it. And I didn't go for the certification at that time. So that wasn't like my central focus.
Yeah.
So that option's up to you. So actually what I'm going to do is start with some of these videos. Some of them are real simple, and actually it says they're Excel basics. This is in GCF Learn Free. And I'll just show you a couple of these. And by the way, this one doesn't because it's an introduction, but later we'll see, and we'll actually play with this. Some of the videos have a practice file in it too, and then we can use that together and kind of go through what they just did in the video.
Goodwill Community Foundation, creating opportunities for better life.
That loud enough?
Excel is a spreadsheet program that allows you to store, organize, and analyze information. You can use it to create contact lists, budgets, invoices, and just about anything else you can imagine. When you open Excel, there's a good chance you'll be taken to the Start screen first. From here, you can access recent workbooks or create something new, either from scratch or from a template. In this example, we'll click Blank Workbook. Next, you might want to take a minute to explore the interface to make sure you know your way around. Let's begin with the ribbon, which is the collection of tools and features at the top of the screen. The ribbon is divided into tabs like Page Layout, Insert, and Home, so you can easily find what you're looking for. There are also commands on each tab that have been organized into groups. For example, if you look closely at the font group, you'll find it has everything you need to work with text, including options like bold, italics, font color, and size. Some groups even have an arrow in the bottom right corner that you can click to view even more commands. If you ever feel like the ribbon is taking up too much space, you can always hide it or minimize it. All you have to do is click the arrow in the upper right corner.
Which I don't recommend. I like to see everything.
Also in the upper right corner is a place where you can access your Microsoft account. Here you can update your photo, manage your account settings, or switch to a different account altogether. You can even customize your copy of Excel to make certain commands more convenient. Take the Quick Access toolbar in the upper left corner. This area gives you access to frequently used commands like save and undo, no matter where you are on the ribbon. To add more commands, just click the tiny arrow next to the toolbar, then choose the ones you want. I'm going to add new, and also quick print, because I use both of these commands pretty frequently. In Excel 2016, you'll also find a new feature called Tell Me. It works like a search bar to help you quickly find tools or commands you want to use. Just type in what you want to do in your own words. The results will give you a few options, and then guide you through the process, as well as offering additional resources. Now let's take a look at the workbook itself, which is also sometimes referred to as a worksheet or a spreadsheet. In this example, I've opened an order list that I'm working on. In the bottom right corner, you'll find several tools that will help you change the way your worksheet is displayed. To zoom in or out, click and drag the zoom control. The number next to the slider will tell you what the zoom percentage is. You can also switch between different worksheet views using the 3 commands here. Normal is selected by default. This mode is great for everyday tasks like entering and editing data. Page layout shows you what the worksheet will look like on the printed page. You can also add headers and footers here. Page break preview makes it easy to change the location of page breaks in your workbook. This can be especially useful if you're printing lots of data. Last but not least, let's take a quick tour of the Backstage view. You can get here by clicking the File tab. Just look for it on the far left of the ribbon. Here, you can access all kinds of information related to your current workbook and more. This includes commands like New, Open, Save, and Print. All you have to do is click an item, and it will open the right page. This makes it easy to find what you're looking for and review your options all in one place. That covers the basics of Excel 2016. Now that you're more comfortable with the interface, including the Backstage view, the ribbon, and the work area, you're ready to start your first worksheet.
They make it sound so easy.
I know, right?
Yeah. And we'll see that later too. They'll say,
And then gloss right over something.
here, put this together and that's perfect. Wow, okay, it was perfect for her to do it. You have 2016 on your computer, right? And Jill, do you know what version of Microsoft you're using?
No, but I'm quite sure that it's the updated version.
Okay, if you've got Office 365 or Microsoft 2016, that would be the most current ones. I still had 13 on my home computer, and 10 is pretty common too.
Oh, wow.
If you don't have 16, that's where logging in remotely into our computers will be helpful, because then you can practice on them.
Okay.
I'm going to be way down on my list here. There's another one about some of the things that were new in Office 2016. So it's a general overview. Some of it was just covered a little bit in that other video.
Hey guys, I'm Bill from UCFLearnFree.org, and today
I'm not sure what happened, but I can't see the screen.
I'm sorry?
I can't see the screen.
You can't see it. Oh
No.
my. Thought it was sharing. How about now? Can you see it now?
Mm-mm.
No.
Hey guys,
Oops.
I'm Bill from UCFLearnFree.org.
It went off.
We're still connected. It says you're still connected
Yeah.
with me.
I'm connected. It's just the screen.
Let me try this. How about now? Can you see this now?
No.
Shoot. I'm not sure what's the problem.
Did you see the other one?
It was up at first. It's just it went out.
Maybe your connection dropped.
Well, but it looks like she's still connected. Yeah, she's
No,
still
my
connected.
connection dropped. You guys wouldn't hit me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not quite sure what to suggest. Maybe if you disconnect and reconnect,
Okay, let me do that.
that might help. I shouldn't be able to hear right now. Usually all I need to do is share and everyone can see it. It's funny that she saw it and then it disappeared.
Yeah, that's what's really strange. My Excel looks different from the one I normally have as well. Here, this isn't mine. I'm gonna just get out of all of this.
And Jill, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Let's see if let me see if you can you see this screen with Bill from GCF Learn Free.
Today we want to talk about
I want you to start.
I can't see no screen.
Really? Let me share and unshare. I'm already sharing, so I'm going to stop sharing. And I'll try sharing again.
This is crazy.
It's funny that you saw it for a bit there and then it disappeared. What do you see now?
The same screen. It's just a little person right there.
You see this guy waving at us?
The little blue little box. Look like a little person. That's the only thing I see.
Huh.
Just go ahead. I'll follow along.
Okay, actually, what you can do is if you on your computer, if you open up GCF Learn Free, if you go to Chrome and type in GCF Learn Free, this is actually one of the videos in there. I don't want to get us out of sync, but I mean, if you want to just listen to it, this point is kind of basic, but the next couple ones we'll be doing actually has a practice file in there, so we'll be working on that together.
Okay.
I'm not sure why you're not seeing everything. It says I'm sharing here.
Mm-hmm.
Wish I was more of a techie and probably know what I'm missing here. I know enough to be dangerous, but that's about it. Anyway, this one's, again, more of an introductory video, so I'll go ahead and play this. This is going to talk about some of the differences in the newest version.
I'm Bill from GCF.learnfree.org, and today I want to talk about some of the new features that Microsoft has introduced for Office 2016. Now, to be totally honest, there aren't all that many new features in Office 2016. The biggest change is that Office 2016 has really been optimized to work on any type of device, from a regular desktop or laptop computer to a tablet or even a smartphone. If you're currently using Office 2013 or 2010, you won't really be missing much by not upgrading to Office 2016. Still, there are a lot of cool features we'd like to show you. Let's take a look. Okay, so this is the basic Office 2016 interface, and if you've used Office 2010 or 2013, it should look pretty familiar. All of the commands are still organized into these familiar tabs on the ribbon. You can quickly find what you're looking for. They've also added the new Tell Me What You Want to Do box, which makes it even easier to find a command. For example, if you were looking to change the colors in your document, you might type color here. Now you can see that several different commands have come up related to color. We can actually use these commands right from here rather than navigating to their normal tab. Another new feature is real-time co-authoring. As long as the file is saved to your OneDrive, everyone can then edit the document in real time and see the changes as they happen. In Excel 2016, some of the biggest additions include new chart types, such as the waterfall, box and whisker, sunburst, and tree map. These offer new and more interesting ways to present your data effectively. Okay, so those are just some of the new features in Office 2016. And again, if you currently have Office 2010 or 2013, I don't think you're going to be missing all that many features by not upgrading at this time. But if you have a newer computer or tablet that supports multi-touch, a lot of these features might be really valuable to you. Okay, that's all we got for now. Be sure to check out all of our Microsoft Office tutorials at gcflearnfree.org/office. Later.
Bill, the millennial guy.
Yeah, right, exactly.
It's kind of funny.
Yeah, kind of.
Actually, what I'd like you to do is on your computer is find GCF Learn Free. And on the Excel section, GCF Learn Free, by the way, has tons of information out there on lots of different subjects. So like if I look at the list of things, it's not just about Microsoft Office, although they've got a lot on that. They've got, computer stuff, career planning, resume writing, all sorts of things out there.
What's the skill level of that? Like if I took Microsoft PowerPoint, could I take those courses and then sit for that test too?
Yep. Yeah.
Perfect.
Because for Word, PowerPoint, Excel, it's very similar to the book you got here. It's
Okay.
Microsoft Office Specialist for
Okay.
for PowerPoint or Word. I haven't taught Access. I think we've had a couple students that wanted to do Access and they did it on their own.
Yeah, okay.
One thing about Excel, I'll just mention this, they've expanded it so much.
Mm-hmm.
Access is
Kind of
a
redundant.
little less needed.
Mm-hmm.
If we're Google or
Mhm.
doing something with big data or something, we might still need to
Okay.
have a database. But Microsoft Excel used to be limited to, I think it was something like 68,000 lines.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty big.
Yeah.
It's now 1.3 million.
Whoa.
So the capabilities of things you can do in Excel have been broadened.
Wow.
So anyway, and by the way, they also have older versions. Most of the videos are going to be similar.
Mm-hmm.
They've got 2013, 2010. They used to have even older ones, 90s, 98, 2000, whatever. But we want to stay with 2016 now. Were you able to pull this up? Oh, you got it up there.
Which one you want?
This is kind of a simple one. I'm going to go to number 3, which is about creating and opening workbooks. And this one doesn't have a work file with it anyway.
Liberal Community Foundation, creating opportunities for learning.
most features in Microsoft.
I'm actually watching it while you guys are watching it. I pulled it up on my phone.
This is done with
I'm sorry, what was that?
I pulled it up since I can't see your screen. I just pulled it up. So.
Okay. I'll try to go, hopefully we can go at the same pace.
storage space for your documents and files, so you can access them even when you're away from your computer. If you want to use OneDrive, make sure you're logged into Excel with your Microsoft account. Whether or not you're using OneDrive, in Excel, most projects begin the same way, with creating or opening a new blank workbook. All you have to do is go to the Backstage view and choose New. If you prefer to start from scratch, go ahead and click the thumbnail that says Blank Workbook. But you can also start with a template. You'll find them in the very same place in the Backstage view. A template is a file that comes with its own design and sometimes even complex formulas or formatting. They make it easy to create professional-looking workbooks without a lot of time and effort. You can browse the ones you see here or search for something specific. If you see a template you like, just click to view a preview. Then click the Create button. Opening an existing workbook is also very easy. Again, you'll want to go to the Backstage view, but this time, click Open in the left pane. If the workbook you're looking for is something you've worked on recently, it might be listed under Recent Workbooks. In fact, you can pin certain workbooks here, so you always have access to your most frequently used files. All you have to do is move your cursor over the file, then click the push pin icon. To unpin it, click the icon again. You can pin as many workbooks as you want.
Somebody stop there.
If the file you're looking for hasn't been opened recently, just look to the other options. For example, under OneDrive, you can access files that are saved online to your OneDrive account. Under this PC, you can access files that are saved locally, or you can click Browse, then select the workbook you want. When you're ready, click Open, and the workbook will appear. Now you know how to create and open workbooks in Excel.
I'm going to see if I can show something. Let's see. Oh, here's an Excel sheet. This is my Excel sheet of all my students. And Jill, can you see my Excel sheet?
I can't see anything.
Oh boy. I don't know what's going on here with that. Never had this problem. I had problems sometimes with people connecting, but not actually not seeing anything. Well, basically what I'm going to do, well, this does make it difficult. In that first video, they mentioned the quick access toolbar, which is in the top left corner. And typically it has save and undo and redo. And she added a couple of things to it because she used quick print and she used new all the time. One of the things I like to have up there is print preview. Because we can go to the Backstage view and do it. I like having print preview because it's actually going to show me what it's going to look like. And I can actually adjust things and see what my file is going to look like. And I might already be on your quick access toolbar up there. As you pointed out, though, we can click on that button next to it, and there's a list of common things that are used quite a bit, like quick print, which she liked, and she liked new. In addition to that, we wanted actually more commands. There's a more command button way down the list there. And there's actually hundreds and hundreds of commands we can add to this.
Wow.
Most of the time, and I think it depends on what job you're working on, it's good to have the things you use all the time in that quick access toolbar. That's why for me, I like print preview because, well, especially in this class, in these kind of classes, we could actually see what we just did in a practice. Get a view of what it's going to look like if we printed it. And this is actually a short list here. This is popular commands. There's like, I don't know, 80 things there.
I'm going to put that function key in there because I always have to go back.
Auto
It's auto sum, I mean, not
sum. Actually, you could click on all commands.
Uh-huh.
There's thousands of commands out there,
Wow.
most of which, we probably don't use that much. But what that does basically is just save some effort. Most of these things are going to be on the ribbons at the top, that stuff at the top. And the Home tab ribbon is probably the one we're going to use the most, because it's got a lot of commands and things on it that we can use quite a bit. Like she mentioned, she mentioned the fonts, where we change the font type, size, bold, underline, make italics, doing a lot of things there.
Yeah,
Section for alignment, section for kind of number. General is what it defaults to, but we can have currency, accounting, various date formats, even time and other things in there if we want. We'll get to a little bit more about these styles later. A lot of stuff on this tab. Page layout's one that we're going to probably use a fair bit too, because this is where we can change our margins, change our paper size. You can actually set up a print area if you want to, just limit it to a certain part of our spreadsheet. And I think that's basically all I wanted to show on this. I'm going to go back to GCF Learn Free. There's one about saving and sharing workbooks. And I know that in that earlier video, they mentioned the OneDrive, which is the Microsoft tool for saving stuff. I use Google Docs. There's, lots of various things that we can save stuff up.
Okay.
And I think most of them give you a certain amount of space for free.
Okay.
And then if you need more than that, they want to start charging you. I think with Google Docs, it's something like 5 gigabytes or something like that. So
wow, that's great.
Not likely to run out of room for a while. The good thing about that, which I'm beginning to discover more, is that I carry around a little memory stick, but I can put stuff up on the cloud and just pull it up from any office.
Wow.
And that works pretty good, especially for this class. Actually, for my project management class, we got some big PowerPoint files that have 400 slides in them. And it's on my stick, but it's a lot easier a lot of times just to pull it up off of, in this case, I save it under Google Drive, which is one of the Google tools. I think I'm going to show number 6. It's called Modifying Columns, Rows. This does have a practice workbook, so we'll play with this one together. I'll show the video first, but if you want to go ahead and open up the practice workbook, we'll get into that in a minute. And I guess just have to imagine that what I'm doing here. I'm sorry that it's not working. I don't know why it's not working for the visual.
Creating opportunities for growth.
In Excel, every workbook is different. That means you may want to modify certain things, like the size and layout of your cell, to better fit the data you're working with. This column has been resized, for example, but not quite enough. Most of the text is still getting cut off. I'm going to increase the width a little bit more by positioning my mouse over the line in the column heading, then clicking and dragging it to the right. Another option is to auto-size the column. This will automatically adjust the width so that it fits the contents of the cells exactly. Just double-click the line instead of dragging it. Now the column is perfectly sized to the text. Rows work the same way. You can adjust them manually or auto-size them to fit the height of your text. Sometimes it's useful to be able to resize all of your cells at once. In this example, I'd like to make all of my rows the exact same height. To do this, click the Select All button in the top left corner. Then resize a row, it doesn't matter which one, and the change will be applied to the entire worksheet. Next, I need to add another row to this list. I'd like to put it in between row 4 and row 5. To add a new row, all you have to do is select the row heading below where you want the new one to appear. Then click the Insert command. The process is similar for inserting a new column. Just select the column heading to the right of where you want the new one to go. Click the Insert command, and a column will appear to the left. Deleting columns and rows is just as easy. First, select the column or row you want to delete, then click the Delete command. The column or row will be deleted, causing the other cells to move and fill in the gap automatically. Just remember that there's a difference between clearing and deleting. Deleting cells removes them from your worksheet. Clearing just removes the contents. You can also move a column or row to a different location. In this example, we'll move a column. All you have to do is select the one you want, then click the Cut command. Next, select the column to the right of where you want the column to be moved. Click the Insert drop-down menu on the ribbon, then choose Insert Cut Cells. Another useful technique for rearranging data is the ability to hide certain columns or rows. For example, I don't really need to see these 3 columns right now. I'd rather focus on the customer's email addresses. If we right-click,
And when you get the
and
class,
choose Hide from the menu,
I can sit
the
here if you
columns
like.
temporarily disappear. To unhide
Here it
them,
works.
select the columns
Okay,
on either
thanks.
side of the one
Hi.
column,
Or you
then right-click again, and choose Unhide. Let's fast forward to the finished worksheet. Next, I'd like to take a look at wrapping text, which is one way of addressing cells that contain more text than they can actually display. For example, I'd like to resize my column of addresses to about half its current size, but still be able to see the contents. We can do this using the Wrap Text command on the ribbon. As you can see, this displays the text on multiple lines. Now for the finishing touch. Combining the cells in the top row so the title of my worksheet can be centered in a single large cell. To do this, select the cells you want to merge, then click the Merge and Center command. There, that's perfect. To access more merge options, open the drop-down menu here. You can merge across, creating merged rows instead of a single large cell if you have multiple cells selected. You can also merge without centering, or split your cells up again. There is a downside to using the merge command though. If you want to merge multiple cells, each containing data, merge will only keep the contents of the upper left cell and discard everything else. So you should be careful when using this feature. The best way to learn about merging cells, wrapping text, and working with columns and rows is to practice. So the next time you're using Excel, look for ways that you can customize your worksheet to better fit your data.
practice.
Okay, so we're going to use the practice file for this one. We look pretty similar to what she just showed us. So
Open Excel.
under Google Chrome,
Okay.
look up GCF Learn Free. There might be a shortcut in there in the toolbar at the top.
I'll just go. What is it called?
GCF Learn Free.
CF.
GCF Learn Free.
Oh, I just.
And go to Office 2016. Excel, on the left. And we're in modifying rows and columns, which I think is about number 6. And Jael is online, and Noreen is in our classroom now.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, how are you guys?
Go just above the video, and there's a little practice workbook up there, a little bit higher. Practice workbook. So it's going to be actually the file that we just worked on in the video. Typically, it downloads it to your bottom left corner of the screen, but you can just open it up. Don't need to show my student list anymore.
Would I be able to do this on my own computer too?
Do you have Microsoft 2016?
I don't think so, I don't know. But that's,
Well, we can check that in a minute, but
Yeah,
let's,
yeah.
let's
No,
just
no,
play
no.
with this right now.
of course, I was just.
You'll typically get this yellow bar that says enable editing, so you need to click on that first before you can do anything. For some reason, these are showing some update now things, but I don't think there's anything really there to update. Until we're able to open up that file, even if you can't see mine. Anyway, she showed us some things in that video, which I think are kind of fun. A lot of them these are pretty much basic things at this point, but I like some of the things she did with it. Now, one of the things too is the way Microsoft has set up their tools, there's usually 2 or 3 ways to do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And she did some things from the ribbon that I would never do. Because like I mentioned, I'm a mouser.
Right.
So when she was inserting and cutting and pasting and using commands from the top, that's fine. But I would rather do it by right-clicking and doing the same thing. It's like when she inserted, say she inserted a column. She highlighted column D and then clicked on insert up above. What I would do is stay on column D and right-click. It gives you those same commands in the pull-down list. And I'm going to insert, put in a column. Actually, I didn't resize column C like she did.
How did she do it?
Actually, what you did was if you go between C and D, you get this little 2-sided arrow and you can drag it out and it'll work. Or you can double click on it and it'll guess at the right size for it. So you can go ahead and do that.
Yeah, that's not very bad.
Yeah. Now she added in extra column, called it facts. So, facts. And then one of the things she showed too is pretty easy to move things around. Now what she did was highlight it and cut and paste. But what I would typically do is, again, I would mouse it and right click cut, and then go to the one just to the right of where I wanted to insert it. So I'm going to the address, email address thing, and I'm going to right click and insert cut cells, and I move the fax over there. Now she showed how we could size rows. You can do like 1 row at a time. I like the fact, I've mentioned keyboard shortcuts. Control-A will select everything, but in the top left corner above the 1 to the left of the A is that little triangle, and that selects everything too. So by selecting everything up there, I'm going to resize the rows kind of like she did. You can use any one once you get everything selected, and it resizes everything. Let's see, what else did she do? Oh, she inserted a row and started typing in some more information. I won't bother with that one. I like what she did with the billing address, because right now the spreadsheet's spread out a bit. So what she did was, after making the rows a little bit bigger, she brought it in about halfway. And on the home tab, she used mine's kind of collapsed here. There's a wrap text button. I don't know why mine is sort of hidden away. Wrap text button basically rearranges things, but I did it just on 1 row, which I didn't mean to do. So I'm going to highlight column C and do that again. Now I got everything wrapped around within the cell. I can see that in a couple cases I'm missing something, like these ones lower down in row 8 and 9. I don't have the zip code. So I could probably just make it slightly larger, and we'll get everything in there. I like that because, like, especially if you got a wide spreadsheet with lots of stuff in it, it's nice to be able to shrink it in like that and get everything to fit like that. What else? Well, she did the wrap text, and then the same place where the wrap text is also a merge and center button. And she took the customer contact list and highlighted across to our last column, column F, and then clicked on the merge and center, and that automatically put it in the center and set it up. And there's other options under there too. You can merge, cross, and also you can unmerge. And actually, the nice thing about this button, I've merged and centered, so it's already gray. But if I click on it again, it just unmerges it. I don't have to do the pull down. I can just click on it. It's going to unmerge it.
How did you get the double height in the lines across again? You selected the one, like Adventure Outfitters, Or did you select the whole line?
I selected everything. I used that
Oh,
little,
okay,
that little
Alright.
half triangle up in the corner.
Uh-huh, yeah.
Which selected everything, and then you can drag any one of them when everything is selected. It'll do it to the whole thing. So widen everything the same way.
Okay, when you,
I know we'll get to this later, but one of the things I like to do too, there's this alignment section which allows us to put things at the top, the middle, or the bottom, up and down. Then there's also left, center, and right. For this kind of work, I'm going to highlight a lot of things here. Well, I might not want everything, but say, first, well, I'll go back to the top. If I wanted to just highlight and have column A and B, I use the control key to select those. I'd like to have things in the middle.
Yeah.
And maybe centered. In this case, I might want to leave it to the left because that puts everything in a nice order. Billing address, actually, that whole row 2, I'd probably like to put in the middle and also center it. I like titles kind of in the middle of the box they're in. I think that makes things look a little clearer. She did, oh, that's right. They did show in that earlier video about down in the bottom right corner, we got 3 little buttons down there, and we got a scroll thing that we can use to make things larger or smaller. Typical view is the normal view. The second one is page layout, which gives us a view where we can add headers and footers directly. And then there's the page break preview, which just shows you what this is going to look like. In this case, I can see right now this wouldn't be set up too well. So I'd want to move it around some.
What is the password for Wi-Fi?
For the Wi-Fi?
Yeah.
Just found out it's MITS 2009.
Oh, and capital, all capital?
I don't know if it made a difference.
It told me it was capital, but did you capitalize or not?
I don't remember capitalizing.
Oh, okay.
MITS 2009.
Yeah. And one thing about those view buttons at the bottom there, if you go to the view tab at the top, which is kind of towards the middle of everything, it's got those same buttons up there in the top left. Normal view, page layout, page break. You can actually create a custom view too. There's a zoom button in there. A few other things too. And Jill, are you seeing anything I'm showing? Can't hear you. Are you talking? Well, what I'd like to do right now is perhaps just take a short break. By the way, I didn't talk about breaks, but I'm fine with taking a break about every hour.
Okay.
I make coffee. There's coffee out there. There's tea out there. Hot water, cold water. So we have things like that here in the office.
I have a quick question before we break. I'm just can't remember how you did that. I understand you said for select all, but then I'm trying to get the double line on here.
Double space. We'll come on to the side between like 5 and 6. Nice.
Still have
Just click between one of the rows. Get it up. Then over to the left. There. Now you get that.
Oh,
Now you can drag it up and down.
all right. And
it does everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thanks. Coffee.
I'll be right back. My coffee is run through.
I just, chugged mine in the car.
How are you today?
Fine, how are you?
Good.
You had some adventures trying to get here today?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You said it. Yeah, I just had a couple of errands to do before coming.
Yeah.
Just, yeah. Are you taking other classes here too?
Oh, yes, I'm taking the coding. I'm gonna be taking, well, I'm also taking medical terminology. I'm also gonna be taking, medical administrative assistant.
Oh, nice. That's good.
How about you?
PMP.
Oh, okay.
And so this one I will follow through. I mean, but there's these spreadsheets and these quick tricks that I really want to know.
Right,
So-
right, because that's what they test you on. When you go to those
Yeah.
employment interviews, they usually give you a test for the shortcuts and all that, yeah.
Right, yeah, and exactly. So I think I like know the basics of it,
Right,
but I really
right.
wanted like the other.
Right,
so-
something formal, exactly, me too.
Yeah, because I think I'm just gonna go, and then I'm just going to use my computer so that.
Yeah, so use mine, so yeah, it's better because then you know,
Exactly.
it
Yeah.
feels
'cause
better, right?
If I want to save something,
That's
I can
right.
do it, right? Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Angela, can you hear me?
Yes.
Paul didn't know why this is not working, but he suggested that if we both reboot our machines, maybe we can get it to work.
Okay.
So I'm gonna cancel this Hangout. I'll send you an invitation to the next one.
Okay.
I'm gonna shut everything down, then open it up again and send you a new invite.
Yeah, I'll go take a break on here doing that.